Story 1. I cheated on my boyfriend with his dad.
I've been in a relationship with my boyfriend for almost 3 years. We met while working in Ireland and then moved to his native country. Recently, my BF's family had a gathering, but we arrived late because he was taking so long to get ready. When we arrived, I asked him to apologize to his family, but he told me to stop being a bitch about it and sit down. I was embarrassed and left to cry in the restroom. Then I heard a knock on the door. It was my BF's father. He apologized for his son's behavior, and we ended up kissing. Then I left immediately and took a cab home. Then my boyfriend apologized and promised to never do it to me again. 2 days later, my BF's father showed up when my BF wasn't home. We had sex, and we've been seeing each other almost every day. I've had a crush on him ever since I met him. I know I f***ed up really bad, but I really love my boyfriend. But I also have feelings for my boyfriend's father, and now I feel guilty for betraying him and his family.
Story 2. My mom is cheating on my dad, and I don't know what to do. My mom and dad have been together for 25 years, and they were the ideal relationship in my mind. They rarely ever argued, always talked to each other, and were loving and faithful. One day, I used my mom's laptop to send off some work emails, and few messages popped up on her laptop. It was from a guy, and he thanked her for draining him last night. I decided to open up her messages and saw that she's been cheating on my dad for the past year. The messages they sent each other were extremely explicit. I started to hyperventilate and realized what was happening. I was able to screenshot the messages and send it to my email. Then, I drove away for a few minutes and got to a private location and cry. He's done so much for her. Dad was always there for her when she needed him, and he worked overtime to allow us to experience things together. It's like I can't tell anyone about this. Whenever I think about it, I feel hurt. I remember when I was 16, and my mom showed me the love letters and poems my dad wrote for her, and they were all so beautiful. He's loved her with all of his heart, and she's been doing this to him. How do I tell my dad that the person he's loved for the last 25 years has betrayed him? Story 3. I cheated on my sick wife with her sister. My wife and I have been married for 3 years and have 1 child together. From the beginning, I always had a good relationship with her family. Her younger sister in particular was always very supportive and nice. About 1 year ago, my wife and her younger sister had a major falling out, and I'll describe them as estranged at this point. Throughout the estrangement, my wife's sister has kept in touch with me through social media and text every once in a while. However, about 6 months ago, her contact with me became more frequent and evolved into more flirtatious exchanges. Around this time, my wife experienced some serious health issues that really began to take a toll on me. Our relationship suffered in the bedroom, and I had to pick up her slack around the house after coming home from a long day of work. I began venting to her sister, who was very understanding of my position and was a great support for me during this time. My wife had to leave town for a couple of days with her mother for a doctor's appointment and left me alone with our child. Her sister offered to come over and help, and I was very grateful for the offer and allowed her to come help around the house that night. Once my child was put to sleep, things began to get physical on the couch and eventually into the bedroom. This has continued for months because my wife's sister was filling the emotional and physical needs of mine that my wife was neglecting. We would carry on the affair every chance we could, using the various properties that I own and was preparing to rent out as rendezvous points. I felt guilty, but her sister assured me that I was in the right because my wife had vowed to care for me in both sickness and health. Just because she was sick does not mean that she gets a free pass to neglect my needs. I thought she had a point, and we continued carrying on. It's been a few months now, and I am absolutely filled to the brim with guilt. Not only will my wife end up divorcing me, but this will create a huge divide in her family. Story 4. I was dog-sitting my wife's coworker's dog, and that dog ended up exposing my wife. The dog came over and immediately started sniffing around the house. Then he went to our bedroom and head straight to my wife's side of the bed. He starts scratching at her nightstand drawer like he knows something's in there. I was curious, so I opened the drawer and found a pair of men's boxers, but they weren't mine. My heart sank. I waited until she got home and calmly asked her about it. She froze, couldn't even look me in the eyes. Turns out the boxers belonged to her coworker, the same guy whose dog I was watching. They had been seeing each other for months, and she tried to pass it off as a one-time mistake. I ended it right then and there. No more lies, no more excuses. Funny how the truth came out thanks to the dog. Story 5. My patient's boyfriend realized she was cheating on him after she gave birth.
We had a 19-year-old patient come into the ER for a UTI with her boyfriend of 4 months. She was acting extremely dramatic, urging us to use a catheter because she said she couldn't pee. As we did, the nurse screamed, "Call L&D, she's crowning." The L&D nurse arrived just in time to catch the baby. The girl swore she had no idea she was pregnant. The boyfriend was shocked and sat on the floor saying, "We've only been dating for 4 months. I had no idea she was pregnant." The baby had an STD from the mom, who then admitted she was cheating on him. I felt so bad for the guy and the baby.
Story 6. My wife said she had a meeting, but she was cheating on me. While heading home after work, I noticed a car in the parking lot of a diner that looks a lot like hers. Same color, same dent on the bumper. I decided to check it out, and there she was, enjoying dinner with some guy. They're sitting real close and laughing. My stomach dropped. I'm standing there in shock, trying to process what I'm seeing. Minutes later, they walk out together, and I see them kiss before the guy heads off. Then she saw me, and the look on her face when she sees me? Priceless. She tries to play it off like it's no big deal, saying it was just a friendly dinner, but I didn't believe it. I asked her what happened to the late meeting, and she stumbled over her words, trying to come up with an excuse. I walked away. It was over, just like that.